How is the mood right now in Heroic?
I think it's pretty good. Like we are working really hard to get where we want to be. Obviously, we have been disappointed about our results because we expected way more than we have achieved in the past few tournaments. So we are striving to do even better and work on all those things that goes wrong, if it's individual or if it's team wise. Like everything we can do, we're looking into.
How is that pressure to be dealing with right now? Probably mostly from the inside that you guys have such big expectations for the tournaments and how you do, and also from the outside. How's that pressure?
I think it's a good kind of pressure because I mean we're all very eager to evolve as players and to have good results, both individually and as a team. Because we know if we do all the things we know how to play, then like how do I say it? Like we know we can play the best kind of CS, and when we don't do that, we get disappointed, and that's why we lose every single time. It's because we don't play the proper CS that we want to play and how we practice it, and we know how to do that. So we just have to look into why it doesn't happen.
After the loss in Cologne against Australis, Cadian was sort of like there were some things he wanted to say, but he didn't want to say publicly, but internally. Can you share some of the things you guys have discussed after the loss against Australis?
Um, I don't necessarily think it's like who we play against or who. It doesn't really matter. Like it's the way we lose because as against Australis, I mean, Heroic is known for being proactive and taking space and pushing. And against Australis, we didn't do any of those things. We just let them do whatever they wanted, take the space they wanted, and that they were free to do whatever. And we just gave information without reacting on that information. So we're telling him, oh, he's out mid, but we don't take the next step.
Yeah, but it seemed like he was really unsatisfied with some things. Was that it, or was there other things that he didn't like about your performance in that game?
I mean, obviously, it's about a performance because the way we lost there is unacceptable. Like, and we all agree with that because that's not how we want to play the game. It's just embarrassing that we played it like that. I mean, there was a lot of things we could do better, and we've been watching all the games since all Australis and the game was 8 and pretty much every single tournament with our voice comps as well and what we can do better. I mean, it hurt us like the way we lost against Australis because that's not how we want to play the game.
And sitting here, just from the outside, I think it's pretty hard to criticize you guys or put fingers on anything because you've been so consistent in the last year or so, reaching grand finals and winning also. But it seems like there's some, after the game against Australis, both Yanko and Kassat said in the studio that they thought that you guys needed to change the roster. What do you think about that statement?
I think it's a little bit of a rough um, statement because I mean there's a new game coming out as well. It's completely new, and I think we have all the stability in the team and like how we want to approach the new game as well. We know how to think CS and we know how to play CS as well. So I think like doing a roster change to only like get results in CS:GO is I mean it's a rough time to do a roster change. So I think it's a pretty crazy statement.
Yeah, but is it because you guys have built up so much momentum and that people expect so much of you guys because you've been so consistent that you think that a statement like that can even be said?
Yeah, I mean I understand why people say it because I mean we've been so consistent and we've been playing like our level of CS is so high, but it can also like go go to the ground. You know, like we've been consistent, but also like when we lost, we played like really bad. So it's most of the time we play good CS, but we just have to. Um, just, I mean, it's hard to explain because I think we're playing really great CS, but sometimes we just forget how to play. I don't know how to explain it. This is
That's fair enough.
yeah.
What can we expect from you guys here in Pro League?
I think you can expect to see a more um, like proactive, like listening to each other and reacting on information instead of just staying back and expect like, okay, I hold A, so it's my spot, but I over rotate, I push, I stand still when it is needed. Like all of those things working together, team play. Like there's more stability team wise.
And in the group, there's at some point at least a chance of you guys facing Ents once more. You're of course the two big favorites in this group. How do you see that potential matchup?
I think both Ins and Mouse, like we have some revenge against them because in Dallas we lost against Mouse and we've lost to Ins the last 2 or 3 times. So I mean, definitely it's we have the hunger to beat them. We're gonna do everything we can.
And you're also, first of all, facing the Australians from Rooster. How do you see that team?
Um, I mean, I think it's gonna be interesting because the new team we don't really know that much about them. Um, they made a tweet where they were out partying and taking Cadian. So I mean, they're trying to be cocky. And I like that. I think it's gonna be a good match.
But obviously, you guys are huge favorites in it. How do you feel like coming into those types of matches where you are such a big favorite beforehand?
I think we've had a lot of those situations, like either being an underdog before we, like a year ago or 1.5 year ago, we were underdogs in a lot of matches, but now we've been um, top seeded at so many tournaments where we played against lower rated teams. Um, and I think we've done good pretty much against every single team that has been underdogs against us.
As you see here, lastly, I wanted to ask you. It's not often that we get to hear what happens behind the scene and in the organization and stuff like that. Heroic financially has had a difficult year. Has that? Have you guys felt that in any way?
I think in the back of our mind it has been there, but not like it hasn't like taken away any focus. When we're at tournaments, we don't really think about it, but I think somewhere in the back of our mind, it's still there. But I mean, it's fixed now. But I think back then it's like there was a little bit in the back of the head. But it's not like when we were doing our job, we didn't focus on that at all. Like it didn't matter. It's just like it was small topics sometimes.
Yeah, and there wasn't anything that you guys didn't get paid or anything like that that could affect you guys. How you could prepare for tournaments and stuff like that.
No, I think we got like what we needed. Uh, so it wasn't an issue with that. It's just like we knew they were struggling a little bit, and we knew there was something happening, and we're just hoping that they fixed it and everything could run more smooth.
And now a new owners and stuff like that. Do they have other expectations, or is it the same like the previous owners, or how does it work?
I think they're pretty good owners. I think they have an expectation of like Heroic being a family vibe, and we want the fans to be a part of us, a part of our journey and everything. And I mean, from the outside, I think you can see that we're really happy together. We enjoy being together. We're having a fun time with pretty much anything. So I think that's how the owners want to see the fans being as well. Like we want to involve the fans a little bit more and bring them to the family.
And sjuush CS2 just got released some sort of the beta version at least for a lot of people. We know that the next major in Copenhagen is going to be played in CS2. How much does that fill in your mind right now that CS2 is just around the corner, but you still have a job to do here in Pro League in the CS:GO. How do you weigh that? Is it just no CS2 at all, or how do you weigh that?
Um, I mean, I haven't played it that much, but I've watched a lot and look at the news as well, and I'm really excited when it's gonna come out. But it's hard to balance it. We want to put all our focus in CS:GO because there's no reason to put in too much effort in CS2 when we have CS:GO tournaments as well. Because I mean, it is different, like how the game works and all the small details as well. So I think mostly, like right now, we're focusing on CS:GO. But when CS2 comes out and when we know the date of which tournament is going to be CS2, then we're going to grind as well.